In 1745, old Albemarle County was organized at Scottsville Landing, its first county seat. Here on the Great Horseshoe Bend of the James River, in 1818, the town was incorporated as Scottsville. Beginning in 1840, it flourished as a chief port above Richmond for freight and passenger boats on the James River and the Kanawha Canal. Played a vital role in the opening of the West. The 1840s and 1850s were its golden era. Tavern on the James, that's an old hotel, now it's a restaurant, tavern. Victory Hall is now the town offices. And look at this architecture of this building right here. Look at this. These are the levels the water came up to. This is the James River. 1987, 1877, 1969. Hurricane Camille kicked butt. Look at 1985. Hurricane Agnes, 1972. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Wow. Interesting old architecture. There's the James River. Downtown, there's the town hall right here. It's Canal Basin Square. Scottsville. Birthplace of Albemarle County. Here's the horseshoe. In the 1700s, Scottsville was one of the many agricultural communities along the James River. Towards the end of the century, as the river commerce increased, Scottsville became a busy trading center and an overnight stop for boats carrying tobacco and other goods to Richmond markets. Scottsville's importance as a river port grew in the 19th century during the days of the James River and Kanawha Canal. Railroads eventually replaced the canal as a more efficient way to move both people and freight. Later, the nation's 20th century highway system bypassed Scottsville. The town's railroad closed, leaving Scottsville the pleasant small town it is today. Look at these houses up here. I bet you they didn't get flooded. Moving tobacco. Tobacco was the mainstay of the colonial Virginia's economy, but soon depleted the rich agricultural lands of the coastal Tidewater region. As tobacco cultivation moved westward into the Piedmont, transporting the crop to market became increasingly difficult. Hauling hogsheads of tobacco overland was slow and expensive. The fastest route was by water. Dugout log canoes could navigate the James River's rapids, shallows, and falls, but were too small and unstable for heavy cargo. To solve this problem, two long dugout canoes were tied together side by side to create a steadier craft that could carry greater loads. By the 1750s, the double canoes were common sight along the James River as far as Buchanan. In 1771, Virginia's tobacco trade faced a crisis. A flash flood destroyed most of the dugout canoes used to carry crops to the market. Replacing the lost boats was vital. However, the largest trees needed for making dugouts were no longer plentiful near the river. Brothers Anthony and Benjamin Rucker developed a new type of vessel, a flat-bottomed Bateau, that could be quickly constructed of planks rather than whole trees. Designed for navigating the rocky river, the James River Bateau would carry larger loads and soon replace the dugout as the chief freight boat of the upper James River. Lord Chesterfield. River trade and the growth of Scottsville. Rivers were once the most efficient way to travel between western settlements and the Tidewater area. For more than half a century, the James River Bateau carried freight from western Virginia to Richmond markets and returned with household gifts and supplies. In 1785, the James River Company was formed to improve river navigation. The company cleared obstacles from the riverbed and built sluices, channels, and wing dams, stone arms, jutting out to form pools to provide deeper water for heavily loaded boats. Locks bypassed the worst rapids above Richmond and Lynchburg. In 1830, as many as 500 bateaus ran along the river between Lynchburg and Richmond. By 1831, they carried more than half of Virginia's tobacco crop. A state tobacco inspector was appointed for Scottsville. Completed in 1827, the Staunton and James River Turnpike provided a direct overland route between Shenandoah Valley and the James River in Scottsville. There's the turnpike right there, which is, I guess it's maybe Route 6, Highway 6 now. There's Rockfish Gap. Of a transportation network. A workable transportation system was crucial to the social and economic life of the settlers. Colonial law called for all able-bodied males aged 16 and above to work on the roads a number of days each year. This practice continued until the 19th century. Many of today's roads began as well-worn paths or horse trails, later widened by wagon wheels. Planters carved rough paths called rolling roads for rolling hogsheads of tobacco to market. Longer post roads developed for carrying mail overland. Settlers moving inland cleared and developed roads to provide access and water routes. Gradually, these developing roads interconnected and, along with the area's navigable waters and streams, formed a transportation network. All right, here's Scott's Landing, and it was called Goochland County, and here's Goochland right here. This is 1728 to 1744. Albemarle County was carved out of Goochland County, and this is from 1744 to 1761. And once again, Albemarle County was carved out of the big one. Just divided up. And Charlottesville became its county seat. This is 1761, 1777. And then today, here it is. Charlottesville, Scottsville, Fluvanna, Buckingham, Nelson, Amherst, Appomattox. It was calculated that 4 horses could pull a wagon weight of 1 ton 12 miles a day over ordinary road and 1.5 tons 18 miles a day over a turnpike. On the other hand, 4 horses could draw a boatload of 100 tons 24 miles a day on a canal. What's in these barrels? Corn or whiskey? Stagecoaches, the buses of their day, provided connecting travel for packet boat passengers. Stagecoaches also carried parcels and mail on their scheduled routes. Looks kind of rough. It was not easily traveled water route. With river commerce increasing, a better means of transportation was needed. In 1835, the James River and Kanawha Company began construction of a canal alongside the James to provide a dependable, safe waterway that would remain in operation during periods of high or low water. The James River and Kanawha Canal between Richmond and Lynchburg opened officially on December 1st, 1840, when the freight boat General Harrison left Richmond, traveled upriver the length of the canal, and arrived in Lynchburg on December 3rd. The three-day trip by canal from Richmond to Lynchburg had taken 10 days for a bateau to complete by a river. Passengers could make the same journey by canal packet boat in about a day and a half. And here it be. 90 feet long, 11 feet wide. The passengers would sit on the top. The cabin took up most of the packet boat's volume. A stairway led to the roof, which served as an observation deck. Here's the park right here, right on the river. Moving passengers. Packet boats arrived and departed from Scottsville on irregular schedules to transport passengers and mail on the canal. Operated by an independent boat companies, the packet boats stopped for rural passengers who could board and depart anywhere they wished to along the canal. Packet boats were pulled by horses, which were harnessed single file to a tow line attached to the boat. The horses walked on a dirt towpath adjacent to the canal. Stables located along the canal provided regular opportunities to exchange tired horses for fresh ones. As boats approached the lock, a driver riding the rear horse blew a tin horn to signal the lockkeeper to prepare the lock for the arriving boat. Packet boats had a 4-mile-an-hour speed limit, which was often exceeded. Wow. The packet boats was a favorite way to travel by those visiting friends or relatives who lived near the James River. Students on the way to the University of Virginia could travel by packet boat as far as Scottsville. Passengers en route to Resort Springs in the mountains departed at Scottsville's wharf before completing their trips by land. A packet boat was a social occasion with good conversation, games, and music. In good weather, the passengers sat on the deck and enjoyed the scenery. Sometimes the passengers left the boat to walk from one lock to another. In the evening, after supper, men often smoked on deck while women socialized below. The main cabin of most packet boats served as a salon and dining room during the day. In the evening, a heavy curtain divided the cabin into 2 sleeping quarters, one for men and one for women and children. There were often more than 40 passengers on board. Both male and female stewards took care of the passengers' needs. Sleeping berths hung in rows. When passengers outnumbered berths, the floors and tables became makeshift beds. The food prepared by a tiny cooking facility had a reputation for being plentiful and good. Most packet boats had a small bar and passengers could refresh themselves with a julep. Here's the top, where you could sit on here and enjoy the scenery. Let's step on board here. Take a look-see. I'm sure this is not open. Oh, yes, it is. Hey, you can look inside. And what do you see? A storage area. 1868 report of James River and Canal Company. Water was 5 feet deep in the canals. In 1875, Richmond and Allegheny Railroad buys the canal. In 1850, the third construction was completed. And here's a picture of the Bateaus. A well-used packet boat near Richmond on the James River and Kanawha Canal at the end of the Canal era. Scottsville when the war came. At 3 p.m. on Monday, March 6, 1865, the first of Union General Philip H. Sheridan's 10,000 cavalrymen galloped unopposed into the streets of Scottsville to accomplish their mission: destroy the James River and Kanawha Canal as a Confederate supply and communications line. Officers occupied private homes and soldiers pitched tents in the yards and fields. They destroyed the locks, boats, warehouses, factories, etc. Wasn't a good day for the Confederacy.